This video is going to teach you how to do long division conceptually with Cuisenaire rods. And all of these problems will have a divisor and a quotient that are between 10 and 19. And also there are not going to be any remainders in these. So this first one, 132 divided by 11. So we have 132. And we want to know how many 11s are in 132. Or I want to make a rectangle out of 132, and I want 11 on one side, and I want to know what the other side is. So first thing I can do is take my 100 and a 10, and I've made a rectangle with 11 on this side. And what do I have on this side? I have 10. Now can I do that again? No, I can't. I don't have another 110. So I am going to write that I have gone across 10. I'm going to put a 1 in the 10's place because that represents 10. And so then I have to say how much did I actually take away from, I had my 132 down here, and I took away a certain amount. To find that amount out, you multiply 11 times 10. And here we see it's 11 on this side and 10 on this side. So how much did I take away? 110. So if I take away 110, what do I have left? You can see right down here, I have 22 left, or you could subtract here. Okay, so 22 left. And I still want to make that into a rectangle with 11 on one side. So your students should know that they can just make that 2 11s, 11 times 2. And they could trade this for 2 1s, but there's not really any need to. It fits in nicely there. So we've made another rectangle with 11 on one side, and the other side is 2. So we're going to put a 2 up there. 2 times 11, see here is 2 times 11. All of that is 22. So what I took away from down here was 22. So I subtract 22, and I get 0 as my remainder. So I have made a rectangle out of 132 with 11 on one side, right here, 10 and 1, it's 11. And the other side is 12, 10 and 2. 169 divided by 13. So I have 100, and I have 60, and I have 9. And I want to make that into a rectangle with 13 on one side. So the first thing I see I can do is that. So I've made a rectangle with 13 on one side. There we go. And on this side I have 10. So I've gone across 10. So I'll put a 1 in the 10's spot. And 10 times 13 is how much I took away from my original amount down here. 10 times 13 is 130. So I took away 130, and now I have 39 left. Now I want to make a rectangle with 13 on one side, and the whole thing is going to be made out of 39. So what I can do is put those 3 10s there, and this 9 I can change into 3 3s. So I traded my 9 for 3 3s, so this is still 39. So I put it there, and I've gone across 3. So I put a 3 there. 3 times 13, here's 3 times 13, this is the amount I just took away, is 39. And now what do I have left here? Nothing. 39 minus 39 is 0. So 169 divided by 13, the other side of my rectangle is 13, and this rectangle just happens to be a square. Okay, 168 divided by 14. So we have 168, and we want a rectangle with 14 on one side. So I can start off like this, and I've made a rectangle with 14 on one side. and on this side I have 10. So I've gone across 110, 110 there. And so how much did I take away from my original 168? I took away 10 times 14, which is 140. So I took away 140. And what do I have left? I can look down here and see, or I can subtract the traditional way, and I have 28 left. So now I need to take 28 and make that into a rectangle with 14 on one side. So I can put my two 10s there, and I'll trade my 8 for two 4s and fit them in here nicely, because 14 times 2 is 28. So I'll put my 2 in the ones place because I've gone across 2 now. And so how much did I take away? When I had 28 down here, I took away 14 times 2. 14 times 2. And that's 28. Took away 28, and now I have 0 left. So I've made a rectangle with 168 with 14 on one side, and I've solved the problem by saying that the other side is 12. 10 and 2. Okay, getting a little tougher here. 266 divided by 19. 266, and I want to make a rectangle with 19 on one side. So I do not have 9 10s here where I could take it and turn it like this. So what I'm going to need to do is trade this 100 for 10 10s. So trade that out, and I still have 266. So we want to make that clear to the students. So now I can take 19 on one side. See, I have 10 and 9 more there. And I've gone across, first let me label this for you, 19. I've gone across 10. And so I'm going to write my 1 in the 10s place, because this is how much I've gone across. I've gone across 110. And so how much did I take away from my 266? Well, I took away 19 times 10, which is 190. And what do I have left? I have 76 left. And so now I need to make a rectangle with 76 and 19 on one side and something on the other. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky. With the Cuisenaire rods, I'm just going to kind of make a guess here. Let's say I guess that I'm going to go over 3 10s. That means to fill in my rectangle, I'm going to need 9 times 3, which is 27. Do I have 27 left here? No, so that's not going to work. So we'll try going over 4. So if I go over 4 10s, to fill in my rectangle, I need 9 times 4, which is 36. Do I have 36? Oh, look at that, I do have 36. So now I know I can trade my 36 for 4 9s. So this is still 36 here. And I can fit it in there. And I have now made a rectangle with 76 that is 19 on one side. And on the other side, I see that I've gone over 4. So I've gone over 4. I'm going to write that there. And then 4 times 19 is 76. And so now I have nothing left. 234 divided by 13. So I want to make a rectangle with 13 on one side, and I can easily see here that I can do that because I have 10 and 3, which is 13. Oh, what's that? 13. So I've made a rectangle with 13 on one side, and I've gone across 10. 1 in the tens spot. And so how much did I take away from my 234 that was down here? I took away 13 times 10, which is 130. And now I have left 104. So now I need to make a rectangle with 13 on one side and something on the other, made up of 104. So I can't do it when it's in this shape of a square here, so I'm going to have to trade this 100 for 10 tens. Okay, so I still have 104, and now I can start putting my tens up here. I'm just going to, let's say I take a guess, I'm going to try putting, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens up there. So that means if I've gone across 7 right here, I need to fill in 7 times 3. Okay, and 7 times 3 is 21. Do I have 21 left? No, that is not going to work. So I'm going to try another 10 up here. So 8 tens across. So this, to fill in this right here, I would need 8 times 3, which is 24. Do I have 24? Hey, yes I do. That's going to work. So I will trade my 24 for 8 threes or 3 eighths, which is easier. So I still have 24 down here, and I'm going to put it up there. So I have now made a rectangle with 13 on one side, 10 and 3, there's 13. And on the other side, I've gone across 8. So I'm going to write an 8 there. That's how far I've gone across. And so down here I had 104, and I took away 13 times 8. How much is that? Well, it's 104. And so now what do I have left down here? Nothing, no remainder at all. So I've made a rectangle out of 234. This is still 234. And I've made one side 13. And to solve the problem, I found out that the other side is 10 plus 8, which is 18. All right, and for this one, I'm going to do it just with drawings instead of the Cuisenaire rods, so you can see how to do it that way. So we have 320 and 4 little ones, and we want to make a rectangle with 18 on one side. So I don't have 8 tens here, so I can't use those, but I see that I can use 100 and then 80 out of here. So I can go 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so I have used up that 100, and I've used up 8 of those, so I have 2 of them left. And I cannot do that again. I have 100, but I don't have another 80, so I can't go across another 10. So I've made a rectangle with 18 on one side, and on the other side is 10. So I've gone across 10. I'm going to put a 1 in the tens place. Now how much have I taken away from my 324 that I started out with down here? Well, I've taken away 18 times 10, or here 18 times 10, which is 180. So minus 180. And what do I have left? You can subtract the traditional way, but you'd kind of make a mess in there, crossing off things and all that. Or you could look down here and see 100, 20 and 20, and 4. So 144 is what I have left. And then I want to make another rectangle with 18 on one side, and I don't know what's going to be on the other side. So first thing I'm going to need to do is make this 100 into 10 tens. Cross that off. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 tens there. So here's where I start kind of using my guessing and estimating and problem solving skills. I'm just going to kind of guess how many tens to put here. 4, 5, let's try 6, okay? So if I use up these 2 and these 4, okay? I've used up 6 tens. And to fill in the rest of this rectangle, I would need 8 times 6, which would be 48. Do I have 48 left? No, I don't. I have 50, 60, 70, 84 left, so that's not going to work. So let's try adding another one of these 10s. I'll add that 10. So now I have 7 here and 8 here. So to fill in the rest of this, 7 times 8 is 56. So do I have 56 left? I have 50, 60, 74. No, that's not going to work. So let's try another little 10 here. So now I've gone 8 across here and 8 up here. 8 times 8 is 64. So I would need 64 to fill in this space. Do I have 64? 40 and 20 is 60, and 4 more. I do have 64, so that is going to work. So I've used up 8 tens. Now I have 64 left, and so I'm not going to draw 64 little dots. The easiest thing to do here is to label this 64 like that, and if you want you can label that 100, although it's not a very good drawing because my 64 looks bigger than my 100. But anyways, so 64 here. So I've used up all of my 64 right there. And how much have I gone across? I've gone across 8. And if you want, you can even count down here, but you should remember we went across 8 tens. So that was some problem solving work, and that's probably the hardest part of long division. Even when doing it over here, you're guessing, well, normally the way they teach it, how many times does 18 go into 32 first, and then how many times does 18 go into 144? You got to kind of just guess it out and see if it works. So here we're guessing, but we're actually understanding more clearly with our drawings. So anyways, I've now gone across 8. I can write it in 8. And so how much did I take away? I had 144, and I took away 18 times 8, and that is 144. And what do I have left down here? A big old nothing. I've crossed it all out. And so I've made a rectangle with 18 on this side, and on the other side I found out it is 18, so another square there.